Sometimes you think you're fighting against a tsunami, a groundswell, a tidal wave of cultural change and problems that are sweeping over our land and our nations. We've been tackling a number of the social issues on Beyond Today over recent months, and sometimes we get very good positive feedback, and sometimes we get other feedback that tells us that we've got a little bit of work to do. We are featuring this week on Beyond Today our program on the sanctity of life, where we tackle the abortion issue in the world and the problems and the sin of abortion and what that means. That particular program became an article that is one of the lead articles in the May-June issue of the Good News magazine. And as a result of that getting the exposure that it has, we've had quite a bit of feedback that has come back. In fact, we just recently had one from a viewer who, after reading the article in the May-June issue of the Good News magazine, which again was basically the program that we had done on Beyond Today entitled The Sanctity of Life, he said this was very informative, especially about abortion. I was always pro-choice until I read this article. Now, I'm totally against abortion. And he went on to make other comments, favorable comments about the information that he received in that program and that particular article. So, sometimes when we are looking at these major problems, and especially abortion, even though there are incremental changes that are made, and surveys show that people are beginning to take a second look at this particular matter and what it really is in terms of life, and what it is doing to the sanctity of life, you still recognize we've got a long way to go. However, when you see one change, one person who makes a change because of what you say, it's encouraging. And it's like the well-known story of the starfish and the guy that was throwing the starfish back into the ocean from the beach, and there were hundreds of them laying around, and somebody said, "You'll never get it done." And he said, as he threw one back into the ocean, "Well, that's one that I saved, and that's all that really counts." And that's true. When you do that, you are dealing with change at a level with one person that indeed is making a difference there, and I think God honors that. When Christ said to his disciples about the works that they were to be doing in Matthew 25 and verse 40, and they said, "Well, when did you see that we were doing this unto you?" And he said in verse 40, that inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. When we see that we've made a change with someone's mind about abortion, and perhaps they'll make a change with someone else, and you can do the same thing in your own sphere of influence, then perhaps what Christ said in that you do it to the least of these, my brethren, and those that are perhaps the most helpless in our midst, the unborn, we are the least. We're making a change there, one person at a time. I think God honors that. I think that's important. That's BT Daily. Join us next time.